Welcome back to the Daily Nugget, Daily Property Insights. One topic, 20 minutes or less, 7 days a week. Myself, Lotze, joined by Tom Rawson, a real estate advisor. And Tom, the topic for today is auctions. The last couple of years, properties were majority going to auctions. They were selling on the spot for numbers way above what is expected. But sort of the last 90 days or maybe 4 months, we started to see that auctions are not hitting that 100% sell rate, and things are trending a little bit differently. Do you want to talk us through what you've seen in the auction space at the moment?
Yep, can do, mate. We did like 1,000 auctions, I think it was last year, so pretty across the auction scene. What's happening? I mean, if you look at real estate, it's kind of a 10-month business. We've got 12 months in the year. January and December typically weren't high levels of activity if you look back through transactions, etc. Over the last 2 years, we've been auctioning right up until like Christmas Eve. It's not normal for us to do that. And probably, having an auction in the second or third week of January isn't normal either. If you look back again at booked auctions from previous years prior to this crazy market, I mean, auctioneers, they were over sunning themselves in Fiji up until after Waitangi weekend. Now we're like bringing them back from Fiji early and going, hey, look, we've got second week of Jan, we want you to do an auction. That was probably a bit optimistic from all involved in the transaction because we're back into a normal market now. So it's probably a 10-month cycle. Clearance rates were almost 100% for every agency across the board. Now they're not. They are trending upwards again. So clearance rates are getting better. And that's as a result, I think, of these long weekends. I mean, our group, we had a lot of people take a real decent break this year. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was kind of like over it at the end of last year. I went away just before Christmas and I had a big to-do list and didn't get through any of it because I reached my destination and I just parked, and I forgot about work and I just focused on having fun with my family. And I think a lot of people were like that. So a lot of people didn't go down the path of getting pre-approved in the first week of January or talking to their broker. Their broker was on holiday too. And so we had a longer break. So the January results and even the December results, I think, are a reflection of people breaking early and breaking longer. I think now we're seeing, after Waitangi, we're seeing auction rates across the board increase in terms of clearance rates. Which is good because, I mean, people are coming to the market selling via auction because they want to deal with cash buyers. Cash buyers needed time to talk to their brokers. Brokers needed time to talk to the banks, and all of that, has happened now or is happening now, whereas I don't think it was in Jan. If the property you like is going to auction, there still is a really good chance it's going to sell at auction. So you kind of need to be prepared. We had a guy complain 2 weeks ago that they accepted less than he would have offered. They accepted under the hammer at auction less than he would have offered conditionally. Conditional upon finance, building report, meth test, and selling his own property. So it was going to be conditional for a couple of months. The owners wanted to move on. They came to the market with genuine intent to deal with cash buyers and sell. And so our agent fielded the call and obviously said, hey, it's the owner's choice. So don't think that because the clearance rates in January have been down from where they were last year, that you can just wait for it to pass in. That is a common thing as well. As an owner, heading into 2 days out from your auction and you've got no confirmed bidders, that's pretty common too. And then on the day, 3 of them go, yep, had my finance approved. What do you think the brokers are doing? I mean, they're flooded. They're flooded with work and they've got so much communications backwards and forwards with the banks. They can't get approvals done in 2 minutes anymore. And they're working right up until the auction day and yep, sweet, you're approved, go for it. And so as an owner, you've got to proceed with that auction just in case. And we're seeing that as well. Last minute registrations from people where they're like, yep, just got it back, sweet, I'm ready to go. And they were the best buyer for the property. So yeah, they're different. The sentiment around them is definitely different. Last year, people got fed up with auctions. You'd go to an auction and just get smoked. And that was real common. I saw it all the time. But this year, you're going to go to the auction, you're going to have a real chance of buying it. As a buyer, if I can touch on that, if you're a cash buyer bidding at an auction, if it doesn't sell to you at auction, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to be conditional afterwards and putting in conditional offers. You're the cash buyer that can do a cash deal with the owner. You might be coming up against this guy that was like conditional on builders, limb finance, selling my house. He might be putting in an offer way more than yours, which will make your offer look inferior. Whereas if his property doesn't sell and his building report doesn't come back, etc., you've probably gone and bought something else. The owner will be coming back to you saying, hey, where are you at with your offer? And you say, I've moved on. So it's hard for the owner too, because they get this like conditional offer, cash offer, and they're like, oh, this looks pretty good. So for those that are listening on the audio, I'm doing hand signals.
Hand gestures.
Conditional offer much higher than say where a cash offer may have got to. You've got to look at everything, the number on the front page of the contract, but also the conditions. Conditions, like, so is it subject to their house sale? Are they on the market? Have they sold? Look at everything. It won't be the same as the previous 2 years auction rooms. If you go and attend something, you'll have to wear a mask. You might not even be able to attend. You might have to be looking at stuff online. It's completely different. But it's still going to be a real relevant method of sale. Reason being, it's cash, and people want certainty in an uncertain world.
Yeah, totally true. Just to go back on the point of when Tom talks about auction buys is cash, what it means by that, so anyone that's coming new into game, or anyone that's tumbling onto it, to be able to buy at auction, you've got to have the funding approved and all your conditions met. You can't buy at an auction and still have conditions. So literally, you put your hand up and go, I'm going to pay $1 million. And if the hammer goes down, you pay that $1 million like 5 days later, and it's your property. There's no building report. There's none of all of that has to be done in front of the auction or before the auction. And that's why a lot of people like the auction selling, because when someone puts their hand up, they know that they can bid, they're allowed to bid, they've got the money, and they'll buy the property. But obviously the challenges with some of the rules that are brought in over the sort of last 90 days have reduced the amount of people getting approved, which will subtly drop the success rate of the auction or the increase the pass-in rate. But auction's always been a good way to sell, but it was never 100% sell rate. In 2018, 2019, it wouldn't have been 100% sell rate. 2020 and 2021 was definitely that. And there's some reports of some agencies seeing that on certain weekends they were doing 30% to 50%. But as you said, long weekends, the January break, that sort of stuff, everyone took a bit of time off. And we'll see what sort of February and March brings, and bringing it back sort of sell rates, expectations sort of, I'm guessing, Tom, 50 to 70%. Is that your expectations to sort of see the normality?
Yep. And if we looked at 2018, 2019, that was normal then. And, we've discussed we're in a normal market. And so I would be fully expecting 50 to 70%. So 70% of the time, if you're the seller, it's going to sell under the hammer at auction to a cash buyer. 30% of the time it won't, or up to 50% of the time it won't, which is fine. I mean, that's pretty normal. If you accept a conditional offer, chances are it's the same. 50% of the time it might go through, up to 70%, and then you might have to deal with the next person. But with an auction campaign, which I still believe is the best way to sell, because it's sold once the hammer hits, and you pay the money, as you said, a couple of days after, pay the deposit straight away. It's sold. So you've got right up until the auction day, you can accept the pre-auction offer, which is a cash offer to bring the auction forward or to stop the auction. You've got the auction day under the hammer, and then you've got post the auction where you might accept conditional offers. So there's still a great method, and it's going to be more normal. I can't stress that enough through our nuggets that we've done. Normal. We're in a normal market, not crazy, and it gives everyone kind of a level playing field as such.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Tom. And for anyone else listening or watching at the moment, if you've got any questions or queries, just drop it in the comment section below, depending where you're listening or watching. And as always, thanks for coming over to the Daily Nugget. Daily property insights, one topic, 20 minutes or less, 7 days a week.